So this is my polyhive. And last time I dug into this hive, I found a swarm cell, but I didn't think they were swarming, and I don't think they are. But I'm just going to check just to be safe. I'm just going to check for swarm cells. And if there are swarm cells, then I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll deal with it. Probably move them into another box or something. And I have this other extra box with drawn comb in case they need an extra box. The thing about this polyhive that I don't like, which you think would be great, is it's these ridges, so they lock together like Lego. And so moisture doesn't seep in. But the problem with that is when I want to take a box off, sometimes there's comb between the top bars here and the bottom bars and the next box above it. So it's glued together. The way I usually remove the box is I twist it and I break the comb, the burr comb between the two boxes first. You can't do that with this stuff. You gotta just lift it up, and it's tricky. I don't know how I'm gonna film this because this is my cell phone. See that even then that top frame was stuck to the bottom of this box right here, and I was pulling the frame up and I bothered the bees. So now I got bees that are slightly bothered. Wow, this hive looks like it's full of bees, man. So I don't have gloves and I don't have a veil, and I think I'm going to need both. I got a veil, but I don't have gloves and I don't have smoke. I'm going to get some smoke because there's quite a few bees in there. Alright, I got a smoker. I don't have any gloves. So when there's this many bees, I don't mind just giving a little smoke just to get them out of the way so I don't squish them. So I was looking at a smaller hive earlier today, 20 minutes ago. I didn't have any smoke and I wasn't using gloves. So this frame is full of pollen. Oh, fresh brood. Okay, lots of fresh brood. I got a queen cup right here, right on the bottom, so I'm going to just see if that's wet, and it is not. So this is a foundationless frame full of drone brood, and I'm just looking for the queen. This frame has got pollen and nectar, completely full though, which is weird. So that puts this is a frame of brood, and then all by itself. So this is that's not the end of the world or totally strange. It's just that they might just be pushing all the honey to the top of the box, which is normally what they do anyway. So I'm not sure if this is even on the camera. Let me see if I can get it. But all these frames, now it's hard to see, but these cells are glistening. They're glistening with nectar. So they're putting I would say that they're just putting all the honey, they're making honey up top. And there's a lot of bees in this right now. It's like quite a few bees. Oh, this is heavy with honey. So that's what they're doing. They're making this whole top box is becoming honey. I can tell right now. It's just like that. Yeah, this is full. This is completely heavy. So I doubt I'll find the queen up here if they're using it as a honey super already. So I put that little shoot of smoke down there because I'm placing another frame in that hole. And if the queen is on that frame, I want to make sure she's out of the way, where she won't get squished. So right now these bees are pretty chilled out. So I'm going to checkerboard this top box. So this top box right here is mostly honey. So I'm going to checkerboard it with this box and then put another 5 frames in the next box. And I'm not explaining it well, but I'll explain it well later. See, and this is a frame of honey. So you checkerboard the honey above the brood nest, and it clears space for the queen to lay and for the brood nest to expand. You can do that just by putting empty frames up there, but checkerboarding it increases productivity and all kinds of other good stuff. So I'm gonna, for every one of these frames that I take from the top box and add to this box, I'm gonna replace it with an empty frame, which is what I'm gonna do right now. Here we go. This is another frame of honey, and then we put it'd be great if I had some foundationless comb, but I don't. foundationless frames, but I do, but I don't know where they are, so I'm just going to do without them. And I'll show you what I'm doing up here. So this is empty now because it's over there. This has got honey in it. This is empty now, and the honey frame that it was there is over there. So now I'm going to take this one, which is the next spot, and I'm going to pull that one. I don't know if I'm filming any of this, but we'll see. Oops, so this is empty, honey, empty, honey, empty. So I got to pull this one out. Then we'll replace it with an empty frame of comb. Again, it would be nice if it was completely empty so they could draw a comb on it, but that's it. There we go. Again, lots of this is heavy with honey. I wasn't planning on demonstrating a checkerboarded hive, but now we're doing it. So now we replace the honey frame that I just took with an empty frame of drawn comb. Then this is empty, this is honey. So this has got to be empty. So I'm going to pull this frame of honey, or it's actually drone brood, but good enough. And I'm going to replace it with this frame of naturally drawn comb. So now I'm going to squish all these frames, center the frames into the box like this. So this is empty. This is honey. This is empty. Honey, empty, honey, empty, honey, empty, honey. So the first one is empty. So the one on top of this we want to be honey. And then the next one on top of it. So this is honey. We want this one on top of this to be empty. And that's exactly what we've got here. We've got honey. This is empty. Honey, empty. And by empty I mean drawn comb. This is honey. This is empty. And I'll show you again what empty looks like. It's basically, well, it's just a frame of drawn comb with no honey in it. So I'm going to put that on top of that. I think I'll just continue to use this colony as a resource hive. I'll steal frames from it to pump up my smaller colonies. I will put empty frames between the drawn comb to get them to draw a comb for me. So this is the brood nest right here, and the box up here that was above the brood nest, it was almost entirely honey, and it was getting heavy with honey, which is normally what the bees do. They put the honey up top and they push the brood down. So when you want to checkerboard a hive, you take 5 frames out of this top box, this 10 frame box, and you put them in this box up here. And then you intersperse them with empty frames. So this is a frame of honey, empty frame, frame of honey, empty frame, frame of honey, da 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 da. And so the frame right here is honey, so the frame up here should be empty. And then so the frame right here, the second frame is empty, so this frame should be honey. So really it should be like a checkerboard of honey, 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 like that. Empty, 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 empty. That makes any sense. And that's what checkerboarding essentially is. It's checkerboarding the honey above the brood nest. It's called breaking up the honey barrier because the queen won't move across the honey, which is the honey box up there. She'll stay down there. Whereas this frees it up, relieves congestion, and they can continue to probably build honey up there and expand the brood nest right here. In theory, that's what it is. You could do the same thing just by putting another box with empty frames up top, and it's still going to relieve congestion, but it won't break up the honey barrier, which is this box. So you pull up a few frames of honey. You could checkerboard it like I did, or you could just pull up a few frames and just have a few empty spots where you pulled up the frames, if I'm explaining myself well. You can do a rough version of it or an actual checkerboarding version of it, and it still has the same effect. It relieves the congestion created by the honey barrier or the honey box above the brood nest. And here's my smoker. Here's the cork, and stick the cork in the hole, and it suffocates the fire, and the fire goes out, and you're done. And this is a hole that a woodpecker or a northern flicker pecked into my hive. You can see little other pecks all around here. It seems that even if I colored them funky colors, or at least yellow, they still peck into it. So that's, for me, that's a big disadvantage of having a polyhive. The woodpeckers just peck at it all the time. So I filled it in with silicone.